Welcome to our another episode. There is a news which I have seen online that pre-independence documents hold greater value in caste claim cases, says Supreme Court. This is the judgment on 13th August 2025 and which was published in one of the English news channels yesterday. And I have noticed yesterday, but I think it was published on same 13th. But I noticed yesterday. But I'm connecting this case to one of the cases, Christian cases. We can say that one of the church visitors, church-going scheduled castes, and whom this RSS BJP, they're calling them as crypto-Christians, right? So the case related to this a GO which was given in state of Andhra Pradesh in 1998. So I'm connecting these two cases there and I'm trying to explain, try to understand what actually how I'm connecting these two. Here, first, before going into 1998, a circular memo issued in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Let us understand what actually the court said yesterday. This is actually court said. In its judgment on August 12, 2025, the court declared the appellant belonged to the Koli Mahadev tribe and directed to the scrutiny committee to issue caste validity certificate to him within a period of 6 weeks. So it seems that someone went to court that I belong to so-and-so tribe, a scheduled tribe, might be a scheduled tribe candidate. He went to court and said that I belong to so-and-so tribe, so issue me caste certificate. So let's go inside what is actually the conflict between that tribal student, a tribal candidate and the court. The Supreme Court had said that a greater probative value has to be assigned to a pre-independence document in case of claim to scheduled tribe status. Okay. It also said that the affinity test cannot be taken as essential part of in the process of determination of correctness of a caste or tribe claim in every case. This is most important, which I am trying to connect it to a one GO that is targeted church-going visitors that belong to scheduled caste in the state of Andhra Pradesh in 1998. So this affinity test cannot be a litmus test. This is Supreme Court said affinity test in the sense that these people will go to scheduled caste houses and they check how they are living, what is the culture, are they wearing new dresses during Christmas Day, or maybe they found going to a church, they go inside the houses and they peep in, they'll check all the photos and all, they say that yes, I have found one Christian word, a Bible sentence hanged to the wall of a so-and-so person. So immediately they take the photo and they say that this fellow is converted as Christian and remove his SC certificate, and all these claims are being taken, right? These instances are happening in entire country. And most prevalent in the state of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana earlier, when the state was united. So that is what actually the court said. See, the affinity test cannot be taken as an essential part in the process of determination of correctness of caste tribal claim in every case. So a bench of Chief Justice of India, B.R. Govai and Justice Satish Chandra Sharma and K. Vinod Chandran allowed an appeal by Yogesh Madhav Makalwad against the Bombay High Court's judgment. Let us see what actually the case, what is this person's case, and then we go to an article that which I have written in 2022. It is judgment in August 2020. The court declared the appellant belonged to Koli Mahadev. This one, let us read this. Giving credence to the pre-independence document which certified that the appellant's grandfather Jalba Malba Makalwad belonged to Koli Mahadev tribe. Ben said, we are of the considered opinion that greater probative value ought to have been given to the said document. However, the basis of presumptions and assumptions should not be your considerations. The courts, the government authorities, presumptions, assumptions, understandings, your ideas, what is this presumption and assumption? They go to some tribal village or a tribal house or maybe a scheduled caste house and they see the way the style of their living And then in Andhra Pradesh and few states, even the name, if name is found like Peter, David, and immediately say that he converted Christian and remove the certificate. A David can be a fan of a David Warner, Peter can be Peter England, can be anything, right? Can be, there are many cricketers who are in English name, maybe they are fans. James Bond, a James need not to be a Christian. He may be a fan of James Bond. He may be a movie lover, and he might be watching James Bond movies every day. And then maybe he might have given to his son as a James, and immediately say he's a Christian, reject the certificate. And how can you, that's what presumptions and assumptions are not, should not be your criteria for issuing the caste certificates. In 2019, I think that this was a case that someone got in NEET exam 334 and he claimed a scheduled tribe caste, and they said, we came to your house and you are not living like a scheduled tribe. The case was that the authorities, government authorities, or MRO office authorities, they went to one scheduled tribe's house. They verified everything and they said that you are not living like a tribe, so we will not give you tribal certificate. You look like non-tribe. And what does the government mean? That the tribe means they should exactly behave like a tribe when they come to for verification. Then issue tribal certificate. What kind of this, where the government is going, I don't understand. Okay, so these government officers are completely differently they're thinking, and then they're harassing the lawyer communities, I think that, right? So the appellant council submitted a scrutiny committee and they said he looks like, but anyway, let's only read the what bench has said. See, this is important. The court, however, said the affinity test, not litmus test, to decide the caste claim. Affinity test should not be criteria for deciding something, right? That the so-and-so belongs to so-and-so person. Especially, see, with the change in times, migration and modernization, this is a time of migration and modernization. People are migrating to different countries. It's a modernized world. Everybody is using internet. Everybody is watching different translated or dubbed Korean movies, foreign movies, internet, many foreign movies they are seeing. So there are a lot of impact of modern Western world on Indian people, right? So definitely their names will change, their thinking will change, their structure will change, understanding will change, then everything will change. That's called a modernization. And then you people will say that these are all behaving like modern, so they are Christians. Reject the certificate. What kind of assumption and presumptions by the government officials and harassing these church-going Christians, that unconverted, there are the non-converted churchgoers. I'm talking about non-converted churchgoers, okay? They are not yet converted, but these people force them as they're converted and reject the caste certificates and all. So with the change in times and migration, modernization, the joining of people from the tribal population in the mainstream of the society, the fact that they are not in a position to recollect the anthropological and ethnological traits, deities, rituals, customs, mode of marriage, death ceremonies, method of burial of dead bodies, tribe cannot be solely a ground into factor to any said claim. So this is what actually it says, that based on how they are burying the dead, how they are celebrating, how they are living, how they are celebrating their birthday, these cannot be your reason for deciding someone's caste. You have to go inside and verify the documents that which caste the father belongs to, then issue the caste certificate. That's what Supreme Court said a week ago, right? But this kind of conflict is there in the state of Andhra Pradesh, and I am the one who fought with the government for 2.5 years with the state of Andhra Pradesh government. I fought against the Andhra Pradesh government. See, look at this. This is the article I have written, that Andhra's 1998 circular memo, a hidden acts and Article 15 and 25 of the Indian Constitution. So this was published in countercurrents.org, one of the online journals. So they published my article. I'm the author of this article. I'm just reading it for you. I'll make you understand what is the problem in the Andhra Pradesh. See, there is, it's okay. India is one of the biggest secular countries. This just introduction I have given is actually a fabricated statement to be genuine. India witnesses multiple violations of secularism in every nook and corner. Two of such violations of secularism in India include 1950 Schedule Caste Order Para 3, which is a clear violation of the secularism in India. Of course, secularism implies unconditional freedom of religion or unconditional ignorance of religion, but this impugned 1950 Schedule Caste Order Para 3 directly or indirectly imposes a punishment on the scheduled caste if they profess any other religion other than Hindu, Sikh, Buddhist. With this presidential order, the axe is levied in hardly in Article 15 of the Indian Constitution. Not only Article 15, Article 14, 15, 16, Article 14 equality, Article 15 abolition of discrimination, Article 16 equal opportunities, Article 25 religious freedom. It violated every article. The order stabilized the abolition of the discrimination. This Para 3 clearly discriminates by imposing such orders only on the members of the scheduled caste. It's purely caste discrimination, and another side allowing Hindu, Buddhist, Sikh religions and declaring members of other religions another form of it's a kind of religious-based discrimination, which is actually prohibited in the Constitution of India under Article 15 of Indian Constitution. But they give a lot of arguments that Christians have caste and Hindus doesn't have, Christians doesn't have caste, Hindus have caste, and all these arguments. Just they want to punish Christians for conversion by rejecting SC certificate. So they do all these arguments, okay. But anyway, another violation of secularism, if that is 1950 Schedule Caste Order, let us talk about 1950 Schedule Caste Order later in stages, in different, that is a national topic. But I'm talking about 1998 circular memo, which was given in the state of Andhra Pradesh, United Andhra Pradesh in 1998. The small circular memo, that is not a GO, nor order, nor presidential order, nor an act. It is just a circular memo, a circular given by a principal secretary of a department. It is equal to a tissue paper. They're using that circular memo, and still they say that it is still in the force. And we ask in the RTI, they said still in the force. That means this memo is still in the force in the state of Andhra Pradesh. You know what this memo says? So surprising and so funny, these authorities of Andhra Pradesh principal secretaries of social welfare department. Really, this is a funny department. Another violation of secularism and personal freedom has taken place in the state of Andhra Pradesh in the form of circular memo issued on February 1998. Either it can be 1950 Schedule Caste Order or it can be 1998 memo in the Andhra Pradesh. Any other such memos, circulars, GOs, orders are being issued by the authorities with envious and biased mind. They miss this secular, moral and ethical logic, yet their hearts are hard enough to impose such memos or orders on the members of this scheduled caste. So this is actually the story of 1998 memo. 1998 circular memo, clause 8 had mentioned 4 statements in the memo under the conversion and reconversion heading. They issued a circular memo 1998 by the Department of Social Welfare in Andhra Pradesh. They have mentioned 4 points under the conversion and reconversion heading. The first 2 statements are imported from 1975 central government guidelines. There is no problem with the first 2 statements. And the problem developed when the memo continued to add 2 more paragraphs, 3 and 4, with their own interpretation and biased and envious belief system. Central government has issued 2 guidelines to the state government in 1975. So they taken the first 2 statements, and the later 2 statements they added by their own. The state government official, principal secretary of Andhra Pradesh, he added his own statements to the central government guidelines and issued to the entire Andhra Pradesh. You know what those 2 statements says that? Let's go inside and see what are those 2 statements they added. And now they're harassing the scheduled caste when they apply for caste certificates, saying that they're going to churches. The circular memo, this is number 10956CV, dated 16th February 1998, actually issued in the name of Principal Secretary, Social Welfare Department. The memo clearly dictates its objective to scare the scheduled caste church visitors. The religious cruelty of the authorities and the inbuilt caste discrimination of the scheduled caste are clearly exposed with this memo. Thought it is just a circular memo. It went on violating multiple rights, especially GOs and guidelines and constitutional values. The memo empowers the revenue authorities to declare the applicant as converted Christian based on the spot inquiry, even not baptized, and based on the traditions and customs. Now you understood what this circular says, that You go to spot inquiry of scheduled caste houses, scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, not scheduled tribes, scheduled caste houses. Go to spot inquiry, whether he is baptized or not, whether he converted as Christian or not, immaterial. Go to spot inquiry. You go inside the houses and verify any photos are there, Bible quotations are there, any Jesus photos are there, whether his name is Joseph, David, and everything. Just take some loophole and some point and then reject his certificate, declare him as converted Christian and reject him as his certificate, then scaring the scheduled caste people to stop the conversions. But this is not constitutional, right? The constitution says that if someone has to come to the government, tell the government that I converted as a Christian, I am declaring with my own writing that I am a converted Christian, please change my religion. There is a process of a citizen of India to change his religion through a proper conversion process. Somebody has to go to the pastor, convince the pastor that I want to convert as a Christian. Pastor will observe him for 2-3 years, and then if they convince that this man has changed as a Christian, and then they will give him a baptism, issue a baptism certificate, take this baptism certificate and submit in the MRO department, and then give a written writing that without any force I'm converting as a Christian, give that certificate to the MRO office, and then you go for a government gazette and then officially change in the records of the government that I converted as a Christian. That is called a conversion. What is that? MRO officer just simply walk into a Dalit colony and will see that some Bible quotation is there in the Bible, and they found that his name is David and Joseph and that converted as Christian, reject. That means, does a citizen in India have no right to keep what name he wants, what he desires? Also, how can a citizen doesn't have a right to use his own name? The name also you will decide which name to give. Someone might be Einstein's, he may be interested in science, so he want to give the son's name as Einstein, and they brand him as a Christian and reject the certificate. Someone might be James Bond fan, give him his son name as a James, declared as a Christian and reject the certificate. Cancer. This kind of harassment is going in the state of Andhra Pradesh. For everything there is a constitutional procedure. Go as per the constitutional procedure. Take his willingness to convert, and then you have to treat him as a converted and then reject the certificates based on 1950 Schedule Caste Order. Of course, 1950 Schedule Caste Order itself is a wrong, that we talk about later. I'm only talking about a small circular memo in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Okay, Article 21 clearly states that the citizen has the liberty to go anywhere. You cannot bind him in the Article 21, of course, it says that you cannot bind him for more than 24 hours, but it also quotes the Article 21 clearly says you cannot restrict anybody that you should not go there, you should not go there, you should not go to church. If I find you in the church, I'll remove your certificate. If I find you in somebody's house, I'll remove your. This is all against the Constitution of India, and according to Article 21, they have personal freedom and liberty, right, man? That we cannot kill it, okay? So mere going to a church, attending a Christian meet, celebrating a Christian festival, so it doesn't make someone as a Christian. Recently, many court judgments have come up. That's what I said. I just quoted that the case I showed you, that an affinity test cannot be a litmus test. The Supreme Court judgment just 3 days ago. Now I'm in that context, I'm showing you all this. Celebrating Christian festival doesn't make someone as a Christian. Recently, many court judgments have come up in support of church visitors not to be declared as Christian just based on the attendance, Christian material, personal behavior. The church visitors can be of multiple objectives. Few visitors may be visiting the church just to go to get healed. Many people are going to churches. Maybe they believe that Jesus will heal them. Someone told them that they might have gone to so many temples and they might have visited so many doctors, so they are unable to get healed, and some might have told that so and so pastor will pray for you, so they may go to church for to get healed, maybe not to get converted. Okay, so then how can you hold them, then force them that you converted, beat them, harass them? That not. So maybe his problem is a disease, so maybe to get rid of the disease, that he is the one who is facing out of the disease. So maybe he believes that Jesus will heal and he may go. Just for that purpose he may go, but he doesn't want to get converted. Maybe we don't know. Right? Few may be accompanying a friend or relative. Right? So few people may be attending church because maybe his girlfriend is there, his friend is there, his brother is there. Maybe someone girl might have told that I'll marry you if you come to church. Whatever it may be, right? Maybe he is not interested in conversion, but just for someone else he may be going to church. Few may attend for time pass, or few may be just peace of mind. So all this, so there's so many people are going to churches, but the purposes are different. The only people who really convert by taking baptism are Christians, the rest are not Christians. So you cannot force everybody who goes to church. You cannot torture them by the authorities of government of authorities. So the memo clearly mentions, though baptism is required for conversion, even without baptism, based on lifestyle traditions, the applicant can be declared as Christian, reject the scheduled caste status. This is a memo given in the state of Andhra Pradesh by Principal Secretary. Such a brainless authority, I have never seen that. I fought with the government for 2.5 years, but I am unable to get success. But because obviously the state of Andhra Pradesh is in the hands of BJP, they are not listening to me. I fought with the government that this is illegal, this is illegal. You cannot force someone that, because the scheduled caste certificates are very important for downtrodden communities. See, religion, forget about it. The government wants to uplift the downtrodden, uplift their downtrodden poor people. They want to give them facilities. Just because they are going to some church for some other purpose, then you cannot brand them as right, as a converted Christian and reject the caste certificates, harass them. That all these things not correct as according to me, right? So baptism is wall between conversion and non-conversion. Churches won't consider a visitor as a member of church unless he is baptized, nor allow him to be part of Holy Communion to take part in bread and wine. But this memo utterly ignores the mandatory requirement of a conversion process, either through baptism or through voluntary public conversion or both. If a church doesn't consider a visitor as a Christian without baptism, if a revenue authority don't consider him as a Hindu because he's a church visitor, then what is the religion of church visitor without taking baptism? This is the question I asked the government of Andhra Pradesh. The government of Andhra Pradesh, the authorities are such a ignorant authorities. They did not understand what question I asked. I asked, see, someone going to church, the pastor will not consider him as a Christian until and unless he takes the baptism by voluntarily after conviction that I want to convert a Christian. Till then, he will look at him as a visitor. He don't look at him as a Christian. This is the pastor treat him. But the government authority will look at someone that going to church and he says that this fellow is going to church, so he is a Christian. Government authority say he is a Christian, he is not Hindu. Pastor will say he is Hindu, but he is not Christian. He just coming to church, but he is not converting as Christian. So pastor says he is not Christian. Government says he is not Hindu. Then what is his religion? There is a bridge, right? There is a conversion bridge. There is a process of conversion from Hindu to Christian. There is something called a conversion process. That bridge has to be, the most important. So this is what actually the government failed to understand the fundamental conversion process of Christianity and harassing the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. So I fought with the government, but this government is unable to understand this. They understand, but they're intentional. The government of Andhra Pradesh is intentional in all this. The memo violates many previous GOs. It violated 1975 central government guidelines, 1980-1997 GOs of AP government. Due to these violations, the reservations, benefits, government affirmative programs, etc. scheduled caste members are taken away. In AP and Telangana, more than 1.5 crore members of scheduled caste members just because of mainly targeting church visitors. According to the central government guidelines, in 1975, the verification should be done based on the birth and caste certificate. According to GOMS 89 dated 1980, Harijan applies for a Harijan caste certificate and the Harijan caste was recorded throughout a school record without any further inquiry. Harijan caste certificate to be issued according to GOM number 58. And this based on the 1980-1975, the government said that if someone applies for caste certificate, look at his father's certificate, and if father is SC or BC, give him certificate. And if you are not satisfied, then verify school records. If you are not satisfied, then you ask any one witness Someone comes and says that I know he belongs to some. Even if you are not satisfied, then you go to colonies and verify in cases where you are unable to understand his caste. That is what the Supreme Court said. The affinity test will be the last measurement. When you're unable to get all these documentary proofs, then only you go for a affinity test. But affinity test is not the litmus test. That is what Supreme Court said a few days ago. This is 4th or 5th time Supreme Court said, but they don't bother about all the Supreme Court judgments and all, right? So if not necessarily, then but these people straight away go to the Dalit colonies and then they say that you're Christian, I'll remove your caste certificate, SC certificate and all. But the authorities using circular memo, the moment one applicant applies to certificate, the revenue authorities directly invade the house of applicant to search Operation Christian photos, Christian calendars. Let's see, they search for Christian photo, Christian calendar, Christian books. They find everything. Yes, remove his caste certificate, SC certificate. But what kind of this? There is a government process, there is a constitutional process. You cannot harass the scheduled caste like this, right? The government authorities in 1997 GO so this is actually, there is something called 1997 GO was very clearly issued by the government of Andhra Pradesh. What in 1997 GO said, this is what this Supreme Court judgment has given, right? Affinity test cannot be your litmus test. In the sense, this exactly, this 1997 GO talked about to the scheduled tribes. And again here there is another question. This 1950 scheduled caste order is only for scheduled caste, but they harass even scheduled tribes. They harass even backward communities, right? Because those people don't know. In the ground level, they don't know. The tribes doesn't come under this 1950 scheduled caste order, but they even harass the scheduled tribes. So here, when we talk about this 1997 GO issued in the government of Andhra Pradesh, anthropological and ethnological traits, rituals, customs are instructed to be verified in case of scheduled tribes. There is a difference between scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Scheduled caste listed as based on the communities which are treated as untouchable in society. But scheduled tribes are not untouchables. They are geographically away from the society and each tribe has a separate culture. Hence, the GOs clearly mentioned that anthropological and ethnological traits, deity, method of marriage, method of burials need to be verified in the case of scheduled tribes, not in the case of scheduled caste. But they harass all, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, backward communities, everybody they harass. But this memo, either intentionally or by mistake, they instructed to verify traditions, customs, festivals, anthropological, psychological traits, to even to scheduled caste, and they're harassing scheduled caste in the state of Andhra Pradesh. It is theoretically and technically error. So this is the article I have written, but okay, I'll try to finish. I don't know how much I have written. It's keep on going. Okay. Does this erroneous circular memo, the revenue authorities do harass members of scheduled caste who attend churches though they are not actually converted to Christianity through baptism? Because of the raids done by the revenue department of authorities, they verify customs, lifestyle, festivals, reject caste certificates. Members of scheduled caste are in constant fear and feel no freedom of their life in life, their own consciousness. This is utmost inhumane and unconstitutional harassment in the members of the scheduled caste who are visiting the churches. Most of the revenue authorities, government servants are not well equipped with the laws and rules. Sometimes they do reject caste certificates if the applicant has just Western fancy names like Grace, Mercy. This can be a pet names, right? Grace, Mercy, Pinky, Chinny. There can be Smiley. These are all can be a pet name and nicknames. Many people will give these names to even dogs. But it doesn't matter. For a government authority, oh, your name is Pinky, Smiley, Honey. He is converted as Christian because Christian name, reject caste certificate. What kind of this government, man? Right? So these are all are happening. So the memo is being misused to blackmail government employees, students and politicians to threaten them not to attend churches so as to lose their job if the job is of SC reservation. Few of upper caste communities are using this circular memo as cause to forcible declaration of someone to non-SC member to avoid SC/ST atrocity cases filed by scheduled caste members. So few complaints rose to take revenge on the another. They want to take revenge on some politicians. They say that you are contesting in the scheduled caste constituency as MLA. I know that you go to church. We have seen that your name is David, so you are not SC. We'll rejecting you as SC MLA. His name may be David, but he should convert as Christian by taking baptism, right? This is fundamental process they ignore. The memo also leads to Hindus being forced to convert into Christianity by government. Sometimes these people force Hindus to convert as Christians, force out to another religion through having interest to stay back in this. The article is so big, so I think it's over. I'll finish this. This memo is also being misused. Okay? Hindus being forced into Christianity by government officials, forced out to another religion through having interest to stay back in Hinduism, to fall in obsessive compulsive desire to adopt non-Hindu religion. So proactively make someone to leave Hinduism though they are indecisive at the point. This is injustice to scheduled caste members who are visiting churches. So when the research launched to figure out actual reason behind this revenue rate scheduled caste church visitors, after doing research on about 100 to 150 government GOs, we identified, we have asked the government and we done extensive research to save the scheduled caste who are going to churches in the state of Andhra Pradesh. So we identified this 25 years old circular memo which is issued in the 1998 year. Immediately we have filed a bill in API court. We have lodged an RTI to the government of AP asking the number of victims due to his circular memo, and we have given representation to the Honorable Governor. Governor has forwarded our request to the Chief Secretary of the Government of AP. We have given representation to the Chief Minister, Social Welfare Department. We have given letters to advice to the government. Incidentally, the Chief Minister himself is Christian, Jagan Mohan Reddy that time, but unfortunately, he is unable to make decision because his government is close relationship with the BJP. That's the problem with the Jagan government we have faced. Many of decisions he is unable to make decision against BJP. So we have lodged a complaint with Social Welfare Principal Secretaries and sent recommendation letter to repeal the memo by APSC Commission Chairman and forwarded to Chief Secretary to the Government of AP. We have announced a ethnic costume protest in the state capital, Vijayawada on 26. Of course, we have lodged a protest in this Andhra Pradesh, Vijayawada and all. Demanding the government to revise the memo by adding the statements like they should only consider marriage certificate, baptism certificate, church membership as the evidences for someone's conversion. They cannot just you take the photos and all. They cannot force someone that he converted as Christian and harass them that to stop them going to churches it's not the right thing. So we have done all these things. So forcible conversion as CDBC. So this became very lengthy. So I'm stopping there. Anyway, you understood what I tried to tell. This is government authorities are so cruel and it is not right in the part of government authorities to violate the fundamental rights. See, we have a Constitution of India. Why don't you go by the Constitution of India? Someone has done extensive research, a Constituent Assembly done a lot of research and written the Constitution of India. Then without following the Constitution of India, from where all these things are coming from the government of, in all the states, not only in Andhra Pradesh, maybe I have exposed Andhra Pradesh problem. Andhra Pradesh in the sense, Telangana Andhra problem. But it may be happening in all the states, wherever the scheduled castes are going to churches, the local authorities may be harassing them that will remove your caste certificate and all that. May be happening in all the states. Thank you, Namaskar.